Not Quite Cool is a podcast that contains spoilers, opinions, and general nonsense. Listener discretion is advised.
We were just talking about the monitor or the smallest TV in the world behind you, Chad.
Yeah, so you'll notice, Keith, that there's a different curtain in the background.
There is, yeah.
And so my wife does not listen to the podcast. However, it got back to her about you shitting on this office. So she completely has redone it.
Yeah.
The pops are gone from over there. They're on another bookshelf. The curtain's different.
Yeah.
The chair's gone that you were talking about. So I'm thinking next week, the next time we record, I'm probably going to do it on our deck.
Yeah.
I want like a new deck, and you can just shit on that, and then maybe she'll do something about it.
Well, or I could just literally shit on your deck, and you'd have to get a new one. But I think your office has a more modern vibe to it and feel. I like it a lot. It feels nice.
Yes, that is a TV back there. It's a tiny TV.
It's a very tiny TV. I think you need at least an 84-inch or something there helping you out. Anyway, but welcome back to Not Quite Cool. My name is Keith Brooks, and I'm here with Chad Dowdy. Chad, how you doing?
Doing good. Happy Texas Chainsaw Massacre Day.
Amen. And Little Shop. It's also Little Shop of Horrors Day. And we are here with a trash panda in a human costume. That is Robert Prago. How you doing, Rob?
I'm satiated. I'm full. I just ate. It's good. I'm hungry. I got energy.
Oh, yeah, that's good. He's going to be napping in 5 seconds. But we're just going to go ahead and dive into this. If you're new to the show, I'm so sorry that you've stumbled to these dark depths of the internet. If you're listening to us on some podcast medium, yay! If you're watching on YouTube, there will be time codes beneath so you can find out what particular you want to listen to. But we're going to dive in to talk about some of the movies that we saw and some of the television shows. But we're going to kick off, as always, with the marvelous content that our Lord Kevin Feige is providing.
Oh, yes.
And so we'll go and dive into She-Hulk. They released the first episode of Jennifer Walters' story, and wow, it came in pretty strong, no pun intended. Chad, how did you feel about the first episode of She-Hulk?
I felt it showed promise. I want more than just one episode. Like, I'm not a fan of the binge drop method for sure. I really like the once a week thing. But when the show's just 30 minutes like this, and really it's a lot of its origin, which is not going to be like the show typically. I kind of want to see if the second episode was more about the law stuff and how she was going to interact with her friends and all that. I just feel like, Disney does this where Obi-Wan Kenobi, I think they might have dropped more than one episode, or they'll drop multiple episodes at the beginning and then go to the once a week method.
Yeah.
And I think this would have benefited to me if they would have dropped more than one. Because again, I feel like I blinked and I missed it. It was quick. I enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong. I think that the thing about this show is it has the potential to be really good, but it also has the potential to be really cringy. I'm going to be curious to see how it goes, which is why I really wanted to see that second episode. I'm really reserving judgment. I like her a lot. The lead, a big fan. As we talked about before, I love the fourth wall breaking stuff.
Yeah.
This was, granted, she was talking about it to us, but I want some more fun fourth wall breaking stuff. I want to see some of that with some craziness. But like I said, I just think we need that second episode to really get a feel for it. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the humor, as far as that goes. I didn't think that, with only a couple exceptions, that the CGI on her face looked that bad. Like it was better than the trailers that we had seen. I felt like but still there were some kind of parts where I was like, And I know there's a thing right now on the internet or them talking about the special effects artists and things like that. So I'm not shitting on the special effects artists or anything like that. I'm just saying, I do think it was better than the trailer when it was first released.
You heard it here first, folks. Chad Dowdy hates all VFX artists and thinks they're shit.
If they're not in front of the camera, fuck them.
Yeah. And Rob, what did you think of the first episode of She-Hulk?
I just thank God I wasn't born or blessed with a critical eye. The effects never took me out of it. I actually, at one point, I realized, oh shit, the effects haven't taken me out of it. And I started watching it maybe a little more critically. And I thought, well, it really held up to me. To me, the conversations they had sitting across from each other as Hulk to Hulk, it didn't bother me whatsoever. I thought it actually looked nicely organic at times, at least comparable to the movies. I could be wrong. I just thought it was a shitload of fun. I thought I was going to be a little, taken out of it by the lack of life or death, world-ending stakes. And then I realized, you know what? Most of the shows I've watched over the years and enjoyed, Cheers, just don't have life. It's just good dialogue, great characters, interacting, almost more relatable. The fact that they are just dealing with their daily ins and outs. And I really love that level right now. She's a phenomenal actor. She's a phenomenal actor. I haven't seen Orphan Black. It makes me want to go watch Orphan Black. I've seen her in a few things, the Perry Mason revival on HBO. Excellent. Everything that comes out of her mouth felt improvisational. Everything felt like a throwaway. She kept me the whole time. It was a lot of fun. I didn't find this one cringeworthy. I could see where, yes, it's a fine line. That's why, there's a real fine line between really good writing and really cringeworthy writing. They're walking a razor's edge. I didn't cringe at really anything I saw in this one. It's one of the top 3 post-credit scenes. I thought I laughed. I thought it was awesome. It's awesome. What else did I just enjoyed the shit out of it. Right off the bat, they really explained a lot of things. They covered a lot of ground in just the first few minutes. So we can come back to that. I enjoyed the show. I actually thought they dropped more than one. So I watched the first one. I was like, oh, good. And I'm like going through, I'm like, what the fuck's wrong with my Disney Plus? I couldn't believe that they did. And I realized I kind of got that. Andor is dropping 3 episodes the first day.
Yeah.
They're dropping 3 right off the bat. So I thought that was kind of interesting that they let this one play out 9 weeks in a row and crammed Andor up. I don't know what that says about either one. I thought they would drop a few of these to give a full, nice 60-minute, 90-minute, launch, and then let Andor play out hour to hour. But I'm interested to see if there's a clear explanation on that. But we'll dive a little deeper in this. Keith, what'd you think?
Yeah, I absolutely loved it. Like you, I've never watched Orphan Black, so this is sort of and I don't know what else I might have seen her in, but Tatiana Maslany, I think, does a phenomenal job. She's charming, she's charismatic, she's funny, she's able to walk that fourth wall break. So many of the comic references, you give me that savage look. Like that alone is a great little nod. I also love the fact that it sort of took all of the things that nerds are going to be really obsessed with. How does Hulk's arm get fixed? Why is the ship there? And it was just like, well, fuck that. We'll figure that out later. And that's great. Like, that's awesome. I love that it is. So we're just seeing these characters mingle in their personality. And that's also one of the things that's always so appealing about the comic books. I want to see how Captain America and Deadpool feed off of each other. And I want to see how She-Hulk and Hulk differ and what that correspondence is going to be. And yet simultaneously, we had a giant action piece in this, not only the car accident, but we had 2 Hulks beating the shit out of each other in Mexico. And that was great. I was totally about it. I love the sentimental touch of the Tony Stark thread about them hanging out and being science bros. That was great. I'm just really excited to see what else happens with this, because there's so much stuff they can do within this format. So yeah, I'm here for it. And your boy Coulter showed up in this episode, so that's good. Steve Coulter.
I think he's going to be, like I said, I think he's going to be in most of these episodes.
An Atlanta native. He's a fantastic actor, a wonderful performer all around. He's going to be, it seems like, the head of the department that she's going to get swept up into. We also got our first look at She-Hulk's arch nemesis, Titania, right? And that's awesome. We don't know why she busted into that court room at that moment, but still, hopefully some of these things will be explained. Yeah, that's all I got to say about it.
Chad?
I was going to say, a couple of things that I really liked, going back to the post-credit sequence and her acting. her acting drunk was so awesome and so real.
Yeah.
And then to even twist that on his head to act like I'm just messing, you know what I mean? Just trying to get it out of you what I wanted. I love that. I thought that was awesome. But something I'd never thought of that it's very possible they've talked about in the comics because there's a ton of comics. But when he is trying to preach to her about keeping your rage down, because that's how you turn into the Hulk. That's how it's going to happen. You can't control that. And she's like, the stuff that I go through every day in my entire life, you know, being a woman in this world I've had practice all the time.
Yeah.
So that's why she can immediately control it. And I thought that was so clever, you know, and smart writing. And again, I don't know if, you know, that's been addressed in the comics before and they're taking that aspect from the comics, but yeah, I thought that was really good.
Absolutely. I was just right before we got on this Zoom call, which was like an hour and a half late or whatever. But I was talking to one of my buddies, Lex, and Lex is an ex-professional wrestler and an actor. He talks like this all the time, and we talk about our Marvel projects. And he just finished watching it, and I could hear his wife in the background saying, "This is the show that all women are going to love," because she had just finished watching it and connected with it in such an immense way. And I totally get that. That's perfect. And what I really think is smart about MCU, because finally they're doing a couple of smart things, is that they, with these Disney Plus shows, they are finding their demographics. Let's get each one, let's target them. Miss Marvel, we're getting a younger age group. Falcon and Winter Soldier, we're getting conspiracy theorists. Loki, we're getting all the Doctor Who fans and the Renfest people. Hawkeye, we're getting all the Renfest people and the motherfuckers who love Christmas music. And this is sort of targeted towards the female audience in a big bad way. And that's awesome to say that superheroes and this content can be for everyone, you know? So big fan of that.
I was going to say, I like how they tied it up like, right off the bat. The first line, which was almost a throwaway, he's like, and that's why my arm's feeling better. You know, and he goes, he invented this little thing which kept his rage down. So he was able to heal, which is great. So they fixed that, which ties into the end of Shang-Chi, why he was able to maintain, why he was a
human.
He was a human. That we are, we're humans. Fix
we're,
that.
We're human. We're not human.
We're human. You man. It's human, humongous, and Houston. That's what the words I was made fun of as a child, and as an adult apparently too. What? I don't know. I'm talking about. And the Sakaar. I think the ship from Sakaar, I think ultimately is going to be the thread that leads into World War Hulk. Something's going to happen there. That maybe he had a kid. The 2 years he was up there, he's going to get dragged back. Something's going to happen there.
Rob, definitely watch the YouTube video.
I watched three YouTube videos.
There's no way that you would think that Hulk had a kid on Sakaar.
And it's also
comic,
like,
which you haven't.
Yeah, but it's also he doesn't remember the kid's name, so he's like, is the kid Sakaar or Scar or what? So he doesn't want to say it yet.
The kid's smoking a Cigar, and his name is
the Hulk Jr. He gets up with
two things. One, we're both right. One, yes, I watched a couple of YouTube videos, but two, I am cognizantly aware of something in casting that may or may not play into that.
Oh, okay.
So there. That's all I'm saying. If I say any more, Marvel might not hire me to do any more off-camera stuff.
Yeah.
Great. And God knows my bread and butter.
Well, that looks like a promising venture, you know, for the MCU in the future. And I'm also excited to see what She-Hulk leads to and what her specific journey is. But more importantly, Marvel also dropped another television show that will forever change the future of the MCU. On Disney Plus, 5 glorious episodes that probably are the most significant things we've seen in canon. And that is I Am Groot. Chad and I watched it. I don't know if Rob did because he doesn't like. You watched 2 episodes?
I watched the first 2 this morning, yes.
Okay, so I'm glad that you spent those 4 minutes
watching. You didn't have the time.
I literally, I was rushing at the end. I watched Miss Marvel. I watched She-Hulk, and I was like, I got to go. And I was like, oh, the I Am Groot is short. Let me watch I had 10 minutes. So I watched 2 in 10 minutes. It was great.
All of them are 10 minutes collectively. So you could have watched the whole thing, but that's fine. Chad, you watched all of it. You understood the assignment. What did you think of I Am Groot?
I think, with Rob, what he does a lot of times is he'll start something and he'll be like, oh, I only watched the first 30 minutes. I couldn't get into it. So that's what it was. He was watching Groot. He watched like the first 45 seconds and was like, I can't do it. I can't handle it. Too much. I don't have the time for this.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to tell you right off the bat, I'm going to block you right here and say, I can't wait for this podcast to be over to go watch the next 9 minutes of the next. How many episodes are there? 8,
5.
6, 5. So probably 3 minutes each. So 9 minutes. I can't wait. You know what's kind of weird? 3 times what? There's only
Yeah,
three
no,
left.
you were right. Right. You were right.
That's how math works.
That's right. Thanks. 3 times. 3, 6, 9. That was a little weird. I don't know if this is on on Disney Plus, on most streaming services, you click on the show and it gives you the episodes listed. It's not like that on my Disney Plus. They're kind of scattered all over the goddamn place. Is that same with you?
Yeah, same with me.
So it took me longer to find the damn thing than actually to watch it.
I think that the thing about it is they're not episodes to them. They are just shorts.
Yeah.
So that's why it's
gotcha.
the way it is.
Makes total
It's not
sense.
like a continuation of the next thing.
Yeah.
They're shorts.
I fucking loved them. I watched it too. I watched the first one. He wakes up at night and he hears the thing going on. There's the alien on the ship.
Okay.
Awesome. Watch that one. And then the one that they show a lot in the trailer, which was the little alien things.
Yep.
That they attack him, then he farts and they eat his leaf. That was great.
Yep. That sounded graphic the way you said it, but go ahead.
Yeah, they eat his leaf, and there you go. I thought it was awesome. It looks great.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
visually
phenomenal.
stunning. It was a blast. It was charming. It was entertaining. I love the fact that you always see the ship in the back, so you know that the Guardians are like right around him. He's having this entire giant world of life going on, and the Guardians over there just fucking around, not knowing what's going on with his life.
Yeah.
I love that tie-in. That was great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. So screw you. Thank you.
Chad, what'd you think?
You know how the whole thing with the demographic that people are rooting for, going for is like 18 to 35 or 18 to 40 or something like that. Rob is exactly older than that and younger than that. He doesn't want. I'm shocked he loves this kitty thing.
I literally, if there's a bell curve, I am the crazy on both sides.
Yes, you don't like any teenager stuff. You don't like any hip stuff, but you got little Groot running around for 5-year-olds. Yeah, you can't wait.
I disagree about him not liking hip stuff because he's always like my hip. So there's definitely hip stuff he enjoys.
I'm breaking him.
I think he hates that too, though. He doesn't
I like Miss Marvel. That's teenage stuff, right?
Yeah.
I love Miss Marvel, actually.
Yeah, 18 to 34. That's Miss Marvel. You could get an 18-year-old. It could be a 16-year-old that likes that.
That's a good point.
So I thought this was very kiddie. Like you said, it looks great.
Yeah.
I like that. The one with Rocket was the one I liked the best.
Yeah.
The one that I didn't like really was the bonsai one. The bonsai tree.
Oh, I thought the bonsai one was cute as shit. But
that's the first one I watched, and I was like, oh my gosh.
I don't mean to jump in again. I did see 3. The one where he takes a bath.
Yeah.
He took a bath in the mud.
That was a great one.
Very entertaining.
It was very funny when he walked up with like the old colonial dress on. I thought that was funny. There's funny moments, and it's fine if they bring out more. I'm gonna watch them.
Yeah.
It's nothing to oh gosh, everybody rush out and watch Groot unless your name's Rug Proggo, I guess.
I'm gonna watch them over and over again.
As you should, because I think they're very entertaining. The thing I like about them most is Groot is the prototype for Grogu, right? He is this cuteness that just delivers and everyone falls in love with instantly, but he's also not the friendliest of trees. Like, he could be a prick and we sort of enjoy that. Like, he kills an alien and just sends it off into the vastness of space to die, and he's still cute as shit, right? Like, we're still rooting for him the entire time. So
like in every episode he kills something or someone.
Absolutely.
If you think about it, he
That
cuts
poor
off
bird.
Yeah, he does that. He steps on the aliens again, accidental.
Yeah.
He shoots the alien off into the thing. He's trying to kill the bonsai tree. He's just pissed at that.
Yeah,
So,
it's more Warner Brothers than it is Disney in the sense that they're fucking everything up. No, it's in the sense that those cartoons are much more, violent than classical Disney. But I loved it. I thought it was great.
I find it interesting that it's a good point because I actually let Groot get away with it more than I let Grogu get away with eating the frog eggs.
Yeah.
Because that pissed me off. I kept waiting for them to retract that.
Yeah.
You know, that disturbed me. But the Groot thing, you know, the alien broke into the ship. I just found it the alien broke into the ship, was destroying things, just happened to engage him in a dance off, really. Not unlike Guardians 1.
Mhm.
And then, you know, he's like, fuck him. I'm gonna trick your ass. That's what I'm gonna do, by God.
He's a smart
I respect him. He's a smart Groot.
But that's
I digress.
and that's another Disney product that I think is absolutely phenomenal. And we're going to talk about Disney introducing their newest princess in a live action form. Hulu premiered their #1 film of all time, a Disney produced sequel to The Predator entitled Prey. So the film Prey, obviously part of the Predator franchise, made famous by the director of Die Hard, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. This would mark the 7th film in the Predator franchise. And some are saying it's one of the best, if not the best. Chad, how did you feel about Prey?
I thought it was very good. It's not the best. The first Predator is the best. I love the first Predator.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Without question.
This one's really good, though. I thought the lead was awesome. She was great. I thought the fight scenes were on point. Those fight scenes were excellent.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish that the male Comanches looked a little more intimidating to go up against the Predator. And it could be my, Predator bias as far as like Arnold and his guys going up against him. And these people don't even have guns.
Yeah.
And, they're hanging with the Predator. Now you can make the argument it's a younger Predator or whatever the case may be. I have no problem with, the lead taking out the Predator. Yeah, it was awesome. I dug it. I think, though, you will probably see a trend with this, not just with the Predator franchise, but other horror movie franchises that they will go to streaming services and you'll see like Pinhead in the Old West. You'll see like Gremlins on the Mayflower.
That's awesome.
You'll see stuff like that. That I feel like if they have those properties, they don't know what to do with them. Well, let's just try something like that and make prequels and put it somewhere, see what happens. Because I think by and large, this worked. I enjoyed it. I think it worked.
Yeah, me too. Rob, what did you feel about Prey?
Well, just to piggyback on what Chad said, not only didn't they have guns, they didn't have guns.
This is a
Thanks
podcast.
for tuning into the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Keith, describe what's going on here.
Rob is holding up what looks like, have you ever seen the wacky wavy inflatable arm flailing Superman? So it's just a sausage of an arm he's pointing at.
I didn't say I had guns. I just saying. I was very enjoyable. Was it the best? No, clearly. The first Predator movie is awesome. Anybody who says this is the best Predator movie is got some issues. There's something going on in your head.
This is the best Predator movie.
Yeah,
Go
so
ahead.
as point exactly. I love the Predator, how visceral he was in this one. I felt that this Predator was on the same journey as our lead actress was, how they were young and they were probably, and I love how he was dropped off. And this was probably his journey to prove himself, to get, to rise up the ranks of the Predators. How even their weaponry was hundreds of years, not quite as advanced. And he was more hand-to-hand combat viscerally. I love the fact that he looked at that bear. He was like, come on. I actually like this Predator more than the other Predators because he was more fuck it, let's go. There was just something about him that I enjoyed more. There was the only thing that jumped at me, and Keith and I've had this discussion before. Clearly, I was not back in this time, so I don't know how they spoke. But she sounded a little anachronistic to me. There was something a little. She had a really good handle on English language, and it just kind of rolled off the tongue. And I was like, she could be talking like this in just like a modern rom-com right now. And she sounded. Their warriors, the other Indians, sounded a little more authentic. I don't know if that's racist coming from me or not.
It is. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's almost anyone. You can't say that word.
Yeah. So she just it took me out of it at first. I'm like, she just sounds like me right now, the way she's talking.
Well,
so I got used to it. It's fine.
I think there's this huge conceit that happens in storytelling when we're meant to understand that whatever we're watching, it's almost like
Are we supposed to suspend our disbelief?
Yeah, exactly. Like if I watch Crouching,
forgot about that.
I mean, I did. Eventually, I went, suspension of disbelief.
I'm watching,
and I loved it. I was like,
yeah, Three Musketeers starring Chris O'Donnell and Charlie Sheen.
Well, that's your fault.
Supposed to be speaking French because they're set in France, but it's just being presented to me in English. That's the sort of concept you're supposed to be going with. You know what I mean?
That's why you need to have a bad ear like me. It all sounds.
Last Samurai is supposed to be entirely in Japanese, but we're hearing it in English because it's a movie. That's the sort of idea there.
Everybody speaks English, even the Japanese. It's like,
even Star Wars.
Even Star Wars. Yeah.
All over the planet, yes. Whether you're Terran or not, you speak English.
It's like Star Wars international translator or intergalactic translator in his ear. If that's what this all is supposed to be. And
I do know that they did shoot an actual version of this in Comanche. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I get that. Literally, I enjoyed. Yes, I do. The tiger that they were battling early on in the tree, the special effects looked, the lion. See, that's how bad the effects were. I didn't even know what the fuck it was. The giant Persian cat. I have no idea what the fuck it was. There was something going on. It didn't look really good to me. So suspension of disbelief. I'm the king.
I love the fact that you're like the historical inaccuracy of when they were talking, and then the tiger comes around in Oklahoma.
That was a terrifying zebra.
The Native American tiger going back years. Thank you.
I loved it. Look, I don't know that it's better than the first one. It's probably not, but I think it's
Keith, right now, tell us that it's not better than the first Predator.
Movie. I think it's equal as far as I like here's why. I like the fight sequences in this movie better than the first Predator, obviously.
Because you're a mental case, but continue.
No, that's true.
The fight sequences are amazing in this movie.
They're great, but are they better
than the first one? Yes. Because everybody else is just shooting at it. They're actually doing all this activity. And it's so comparable to the first one because it's the same sort of story. We're just putting it in a different historical setting. And it's still about a person learning how to beat out this monster. Whereas I feel in this one, we also have the added depth of the story of the Predator also trying to figure out how to beat these people, right? We see him studying other animals in the wild and trying to put all the information together. But I think it's like this interesting. Also, I want to point out, Chad will know who this person is. Amber Midthunder, who's the lead actress.
Yes.
Her father is the voice of Nightwolf from the Mortal Kombat movies, which I think is the Mortal Kombat video games, which I think is the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I love the fact that it went so far as to have realistic aspects where they're speaking the language of the people. They also use hand talk, which was at a point in history more common in America than English was. And so that's awesome. Some of those historical accuracies are great, but I also feel it's great that it's bringing a highlight to this tribe of people. But at the same time, it shows that there's more progress to be made, because it calls the dub a Comanche dub, but it only calls that because that's what most people think the word is, when the word is not that. The Comanche is a name that white people gave that tribe, and it means enemy or stranger, but they're actually called the Nermina, right? That's their name for themselves. So in the same way that the Predator isn't actually called the Predator, it's called like a Yowlin or something like that. It has its own name as well. So I think it's great that we have representation happening and being in the spotlight, but it also shows us we need to go a little bit further, still to appreciate stuff. But that being said, the tie-ins to Predator 2, lost my shit when I saw the gun. That was awesome as fuck. The post-credit scene of the ships, that's cool as shit. I'm here for that. I kind of hope they don't do a sequel to it and they leave it stand as a one and done, right? Because I just think there's something so epic about this movie. And it was such a good, fun, invigorating watch where it captured some of the lightning that the first one had, because you watch the first Predator and it's not until, 3/4 of the way through the movie or maybe halfway through that you realize, oh, this is an alien movie. This is something completely different. And this one has that same sort of, it's like 25 minutes, 30 minutes in.
The opening shot of Predator is the alien spacecraft.
Oh, I guess you're right. Fuck yeah. Yeah, you're right. But the military stuff, that takes over the primary story.
Definitely. You might forget.
Yeah.
I definitely go with that. But
yeah. And
it
even
has
this
at
one,
the
same
beginning.
thing. Yeah. So, but I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. I've watched it, I think, 3 times now. So I really dug this movie a lot.
I want to apologize to the audience for having to listen to Keith try to make this podcast more intelligent. I know our audience.
Right?
We're sorry about the big words and the history lesson. I know, you didn't come in to expand your brain power.
Keith was talking earlier about the YouTube where you can see what's next and jump to a different chapter. They all just jump to whatever we're talking about. They're like, whatever. I'm done talking about Prey.
Welcome to Keith's diatribe. So I thought that was awesome. And I love that, these horror movies are taking a new turn on these different genres. Like this next film, which is a Netflix film that Chad saw. I saw the first 30 minutes. I pulled a Rob, but I'm going to finish watching it later. And that is the Jamie Foxx starring vehicle Day Shift, which is about a vampire hunter. Shot here in Atlanta. Chad, what did you think about Day Shift?
I thought this was fun. I thought it was funny. I don't know. I can't remember exactly how far 30 minutes as far as what's going on, but I thought Dave Franco was so funny. He's like the inept guy who is, he knows all the book smarts, but he's never been in the field.
Yeah.
And you've seen that 100 times in movies, and he plays it so well. He is so funny. I think the fight choreography in this is amazing. It seems like the vampires in this movie, they're all
contortionists.
I was going to say ventriloquists, and I was like, that's not the word. They're all contortionists.
That would be terrifying, though.
But yeah, I thought it was great. You got Snoop Dogg. I texted Rob to check it out because he and I both are big fans of the Santa Clarita Diet on Netflix, and that's the vibes I was getting from this. Was instead of zombies, vampires, of course, to the point to where I hope this is like the start of a franchise. I would love to see a sequel to this. Let's keep it going. It's it's a little John Wick where there's like a union of vampire hunters, not assassins, and so I like that. It's a whole world that they've built out pretty seamlessly, I think, in this movie, that you can just you could set one in Paris if you wanted to, wherever, and it just works fine. Even if Jamie Foxx doesn't come back, but like I said, I'd love for Jamie Foxx to come back, and they do another one of these. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I'm only 30 minutes in, so I've just got to the place where they've gotten to the union. And so far I agree. The fight sequence at the beginning is phenomenal. It's so fun to watch. Megan Good is the most gorgeous human on the face of the earth. And it owes a lot to Men in Black. And I found that I love any movie that plays with that authorities over something preacher or supernatural, right? Like Blade, anything like that. R.I.P.D., which sucked, but I liked it. The Will Smith one was, what was that movie called? Bright? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really like this a lot. And Jamie Foxx is just compelling and fun, and Snoop Dogg always looks high, and I like that too. So so I'm here for it. I can't wait to finish this bullshit call and go watch more of that. But then there's something else I watched that Chad watched last time, and that is Jordan Peele's newest film, Nope.
I gotta see that. Damn it. I need to see that.
And I don't want to do any spoilers because Rob hasn't seen it yet. But Chad was talking about how he hates this movie and everything Jordan Peele does. Chad ranked it at number 3 of his, and his ranking was Us, Get Out, Nope. I think mine is Nope, Us, Get Out. Because I feel this one has so many compelling conversations happening, whether it be about exploitation, whether it be about animal rights, or the film industry. This movie has a shit ton to say about the film industry and the types of people that gravitate towards it. And Daniel Kaluuya's character is so soft-spoken, cowboy, like it's a Western meets Jaws. It is more Jaws than anything else, like shots directly from Jaws. And the character of Jean Jacket, wow, like I did not expect what that became. and it's great. You were absolutely right about Steven Yeun's younger version of himself being spot on. I've never heard a movie praise Chris Kattan as much as this one does. um, and I don't think the movie is about what people think it's about. The beginning quote of the movie makes me think that the answer is more biblical than what.
Do you want me to take the cans off?
Yeah,
You
take
guys
the cans off for 2 seconds. I'll signal you when I come back in. I think it's a fucking angel. I think it's not an alien, but it's an angel, because when it unfolds itself, it looks more like the classic interpretation. And there's all of those ideas about the hierarchy and about things controlling the primates or whatever beneath them. The first thing we see is a Bible quote about spitting our vial forth upon the earth, and that's what it does, right? And so right. I think it's an angel, and it's a ballsy ass story, and I love it. I love it immensely. So,
I was going to say with you talking about the Chris Kattan thing, there, I know you're saying that jokingly. I loved when Steven Yeun was talking about that, because he lived it, but he couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
He wasn't talking about what happened and what he lived through. He was seeing it through watching it on a TV show of them, a skit of it.
Yeah.
I thought that was so awesome. Love that.
But I also think that goes back to the metaphor of not looking it in the eye. You know what I mean? If you look it in the eye, it becomes a threat. And that's exactly what his character is doing. He's looking at his own experiences through the spectacle of something else.
Right.
And I think that's one of the big messages behind it, and why I think it's so. But his speech, regardless of if I'm making fun of the guy who played Mango or not, or Papaya, whatever the fuck that character's name was, it was so beautiful the way he delivered that speech. And what a weird ass character, what a weird ass setup, all of that. I adored it. I thought it was great. I don't know how we signal Rob to come back in. Let's
exactly. Just start waving. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, it totally worked. Yeah. And how long is it gonna take before he unmutes himself?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I can't even put the headphones on.
He is. Oh my gosh. You're muted, Rob. So
I know.
There's what Rob said. Hey, I'll just watch, and you signal me, and he immediately just starts looking down at his phone.
Yeah, it's just
forever.
He turned his computer off, walked away. But next up, we're also going to talk about another ferocious thing. Rob watched The Bear.
Oh, so good.
I don't know if you finished all of it or how far you are into it, but tell us about The Bear.
I've been hearing about this show for a while. It's on Hulu right now, and I think it may have been one of those FX produced shows. I'm not 100% sure. A show about a guy who's Chicago born and bred, left town to go study at the culinary arts at some of the greatest places in the world, and wound up running what was considered in the show to be the most famous restaurant in the United States. Has a family tragedy, comes back to Chicago to take over the family restaurant. And the shit hits the beginning of this show. I feel like you're shot out of a cannon. It's like, I felt like at times it was like a war movie in this kitchen. Again, I make cereal. I'm not a cook, but the reviews I read just from people in the culinary industry say it's the most authentic show ever shot. A narrative about cooking. The actors are phenomenal. This lead actor, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head, just so reminiscent. Somebody said he was in Shameless. I've never seen the show Shameless.
Yeah.
Very reminiscent of a young Pacino. Adrian, what's his name? What's the actor who won the Academy Award for the piano?
Adrian Brody.
Brody, the pianist. I'm sorry, not the piano. Adrian Brody. Very reminiscent of two of them, sort of across. Talk about visceral. Just a phenomenal, phenomenal show. It's not long. It's 8 episodes. They're only a half hour each on the average. I highly recommend the show. I wanted to kind of do a search to see if it had been greenlit for a second season. I don't know how it's been received, but it is phenomenal. I do. And it is littered with guest starring well-known actors who we all love. I don't want to spoil anything right now. So check out The Bear on Hulu if you can find it. It's dynamite.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Yeah, you've been yelling at me to watch it all week, but instead, I watched other things. Chad and I both watched a new horror film on Peacock starring Kevin Bacon entitled They, Them. Now, this film is about a conversion camp targeted towards the LGBTQ community that tries to, in unethical methodology, convert people from their sexuality. Chad, what did you think about this film that also starred Atlanta native actor Mark Ashworth?
Woo!
Yeah. So I think that you missed the title a little bit, and Rob's going to appreciate this, but the title of the movie is They Slash Them.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Wow. God damn, that is clever.
Very clever, as far as that goes.
It's more
That being
clever
said-
than the movie. Yeah, but
Yeah. That being said, we are white cis males, all three of us.
Yeah.
It's not like that this movie is necessarily for us, or our opinion even matters to a degree. It matters in the sense if we like it or not. But so I'm going to tread lightly when I talk about this, because I was not really a fan of this. It has nothing to do with the fact that it was about the LGBTQ community. It was just not a great movie.
Yeah.
The kills were not inventive or great. I felt like that the killer was obvious. It seemed like it was, to me, a whodunit. And it was like that person done it that the whole time. Like that, who else would it be?
Yeah.
If it's anybody else, it would just be like stupid, or, like, I'm going to spoil it, Rob, because I don't know if you're going to watch it, but it's not Kevin Bacon, but it'd be obvious if it was Kevin Bacon, because it's clearly not going to be Kevin Bacon. So who else is it going to be? So it's just obvious. What I would be curious about, though, honestly, is what the LGBTQ community thinks about this movie.
Yeah, same here.
If they think it's like an anthem, because there was an anthem during the movie.
Pink, yeah.
That I think was powerful, and it could be powerful for them, but I just don't know, because with the killer being a part of the community, I would just be curious what they think, but I was not a fan of it.
Yeah, I'm on the same I'm in the same boat as you. I loved the premise of the film. I love the idea of the film, and I love moments of the film. But I think overall it could have used another draft or two to try to find some ways to deliver more on the promises of the film and be more creative. But it feels like it was a churned out film kind of quickly. I think the beginning with Kevin Bacon is great. The twist on the expectation is great, and then it just instantly falls into exactly what your expectations are going to be.
Right.
And there's some, I love when they all start singing the little musical number. I thought that was great. The sex scene I thought was really clever, of them both looking at their phones while they're having sex. I thought that was awesome. The dude that is the plant, like amongst the kids, I thought that was weird Jennifer Connelly at first, and it totally, not that was unpredictable or anything like that, but that guy's great and has a presence to him that's very disconcerting to begin with. But the biggest thing is that girl, the counselor, the nurse, is the chick from My Girl.
Right.
All grown up. That's insane to me.
You haven't seen her in stuff like, because she was like in Veep.
Yeah,
she's been in like several other things, but yes, that's who it was.
I just fell in love with her during My Girl, so it was awesome to see.
There was a local film here years ago before she kind of had a renaissance. Local film called Blood Car.
Yeah,
she was in Blood Car. Yeah.
Okay, that's crazy. Yeah, like I think this movie was. I mean, it's a slasher flick. It doesn't live up to the expectations. If A24 would have done it, wow. But it's Blumhouse, so whatever.
Yeah. Come on now.
So
cut that part out about the Blumhouse thing, okay? leave the thing in when Rob said the racial slur about the Native Americans, but
definitely.
Cut out the Blumhouse thing.
Oh, there were probably other racial slurs I dropped too.
probably a ton of them. But now talking on,
I'm just a crazy old Jew sitting over here.
Moving on to our next film. This is another big one, because we cover the big films here, guys. Disney released the next part of their epic saga, and that is Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. Chad and I watched this.
I am so far behind on the Lego movies. God almighty. I've never seen any of them.
They're great. They're fucking phenomenal.
I know. It's not even like I don't want to watch them. They've slipped through the cracks.
These Star Wars ones are seemingly just anthology stories. But I want to say, before Chad dives off into his diatribe about the historical accuracies of it, that Ross Marquand's Harrison Ford is so fucking good that I thought it was really Harrison Ford because it was so solid. Anyway, go ahead, Chad. What'd you think?
Let me ask you a question. So are you guys friends with that Ross guy, or
I don't know,
Atlanta actor?
I've met him. No, he's LA, but I mean, he worked
Walking Dead, right?
Yeah. But he's after me, but we met at a convention. Nice guy.
Okay. I don't remember thinking that. That's all I was going to say.
Oh my God, Ross. Did you hear this, Ross?
Yeah. Drop in my DMs, Ross. We'll go at it. Okay. Like, you're no Harrison Ford, sir. Yeah. These are fine. These are cute. It's kind of like the Groot stuff.
Yeah.
This one is probably, if we're ranking the 3 Star Wars Legos, this is in the middle. Like I didn't really like the Halloween one. I felt
I love
rushed.
The Halloween one.
I love the holiday special one. I thought that was great, especially playing off the holiday special, the original holiday special. This one felt more in the middle. I'd really like the Emperor Palpatine, Darth Vader one. I thought that was very funny. I think, I'm not saying the guy sounds like Palpatine, but he is a great Palpatine. He sounds awesome. He's so funny. So I dig that.
And Rob, I know
you stuff.
Yeah, me too. Rob, I know you're confused. Palpatine and Darth Vader go to a beach and get involved in a beach summer competition because they want to be the rulers of the beach. It's so stupid but fun.
Just talking Star
Rob,
Wars.
I know you're confused.
It's giving me palpitations.
Yeah, I know you're confused, Rob, but Palpatine is like the Emperor from Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the main bad guy. And Darth Vader is Luke's father. So
yeah.
Darth Vader's the guy who likes to start fires to scare people, and then when somebody else starts a fire, he runs. He's scared of fire. Because he's really Frankenstein, I learned. Okay, gotcha. I'm good. Gotcha. Awesome.
It's that guy. You're right.
I got him. Yes, I got him. I got the Darth.
Look, I agree. I like I think for me, ranking it's holiday Halloween, this one. But I will say that the Lego Star Wars movies have more balls than J.J. Abrams does, because there are like a lot of implications from this one, because Obi-Wan, when he shows up, he's like, I've come to help a young Jedi. And he's talking to Finn. So he's telling him, you're a fucking Jedi.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, oh man, yeah, they're just doing it.
Yeah. And kept happening, even when Anakin shows up. And I love the moment where like Leia shows up and then her son's there with her. Like that was beautiful. I'm like, these are fucking Legos. Why do I have the feels right now? If you're a Star Wars fan, you should totally, just because it's filled with so many. I think the Lego movies in general can do these great little homage moments that other movies can't, whether it be the Batman Lego movie or the Star Wars things. I dug the shit out of this. I thought it was fantastic. Magical. It's dreams come true, one would say. But speaking of dreams, let's talk about the newest Netflix show that really is about dreams coming true. It is 10 episodes. I watched all 10. I think Chad watched the first 3. And it is Neil Gaiman's Sandman. Rob watched an asshole, I think is what he's showing us. Yep, cool. So we'll talk about Rob's Hershey Highway momentarily. But the Sandman, starring Gwendolyn Christie, Stephen Fry, a lot of great actors in this. Chad, what did you think about the first 3 episodes of Sandman?
I'm a little bit familiar with this in the fact that a long time ago, I read like the first 2 omnibus volumes of this.
Yeah.
But I don't remember a lot what I read. It's a long time ago. I felt like this looks a lot like it though. The first 3 episodes, Sandman, he looks like Sandman from the comic. The helm looks awesome.
Yeah.
I really dug the first episode. I thought it was a, great choice just to have him captured the entire episode.
Yeah.
And really you're just setting up things with that. And then when he gets out, I'm like, all right, let's get to like the trailer stuff that I've seen, some of this awesome, huge world that we're seeing. And we get some of that. He goes back, or whatever. But I felt like it was kind of treading water. Look at that.
I know this is an audio format, but Rob just lifted a puppy, and the puppy, it looks like he's ready to answer some questions, but that's fine.
Exactly.
This is Stash. He's now 1 year old this week, and he's a lunatic. Yeah,
He looks like it.
Say, everybody, say hello. This is Keith. This is Chad. Anything, buddy? Wow. What do you think of Sandman?
I feel like that's good. That's what Sandman would want you to do.
Absolutely.
That's his whole deal.
Let me ask you: Do they actually play "Enter the Sandman" by Metallica on this show?
No.
Not in the first 3 episodes.
That's a mistake.
Not in any of the episodes.
That's a mistake.
But go ahead, Chad, before you were so rudely interrupted by a dog.
Don't you dare! Tashi interrupts.
I would never presume to say something like that. But so I felt like it was treading water, like a couple of those, because I'm like, get to it. Let's get to the cool stuff. I want to see Gwendolyn Christie, things like that. Yeah. But it's enough to where I'm intrigued enough to keep going. I haven't only seen 3 episodes because I'm just like, I'm done with it. I'm not going to watch anymore. It's just, there's 1,000 things to watch or whatever. So I've watched the first 3. I am going to keep going. I enjoyed it to a point, and I'm intrigued to keep going.
Yeah. I think, to me, the original Neil Gaiman comic book series is beloved and considered one of the greatest works of fiction, even outside of comic books. And it's deserving because it's a beautiful storyline with amazing concepts and creativity. And Gaiman really finds a way to make his own corner of the DC universe. In this, they sort of separate themselves a little bit from the DC universe. Originally, the character of John Dee was supposed to be Dr. Destiny, but it's now separate from that. But that actor is fucking phenomenal as John Dee. He's doing an amazing job. And later on, you'll get some like little hints at Captain Cold shows up and Batman shows up for a second. And like you see like little elements of these characters, just like little homages, even to the degree where you get the original comic book Sandman superhero, kind of. All of this is kind of to show that they are playing in the same world. But
that's pretty cool.
Yeah. The thing I like about it, I think the first 3 episodes are the more difficult to get through because you start off with inertia. He's trapped the entire episode not doing anything in the first episode. And the second 2 episodes, you're sort of just dipping your toes into what this world is. And even by the 10th episode, you've only started to see how big of a scope this is. We don't even meet all the siblings. We meet a couple of them, not all of them. But the thing I loved was that the show can be so different from episode to episode, that it does capture the great qualities of that monster freak of the week sort of notion, in the sense that the episode, The Sound of Her Wings, which has always been one of my favorite comic books, is freeform almost. It's like one long ass conversation between 2 amazing actors. And it's just beautiful and brilliant and heart-wrenching to watch. I found myself just so excited to see where they went next with every single episode. I hope it gets a season 2. I think it's probably, I put it on par with Watchmen, the television show, as just like a really fucking great world and way to present this. Obviously, they changed some things from the comics, but I loved Joanna Constantine. That was great. That was cool to see that.
Is Constantine any relation to John Constantine?
So in the comics, that is John. That's
what I was thinking.
Yeah. So in the comics, there was a Joanna Constantine that was an ancestor, and we meet her in the thing. And this one is just a placeholder for John. And so that they both have the same name. Gotcha. But yeah, and I think that's probably done just to separate it from whatever else DC decides to do. Because it's also that Lucifer is supposed to be the Lucifer from the show, but they changed it up.
Is it? Let me ask you just this, because I'm not interested in watching it, and I am a fan of comic book TV shows and movies. Is there a flaw in the marketing with Netflix? Is there, because it feels so bleak and just so drab? And I'll be honest, I did I turned it on and I watched the first 5 minutes of the first episode, and that opening monologue went on and on. You're not even making a joke. Like, it put me to sleep. He just droned on and on. And I was like, this is what I fear the whole show is. Just this self-reverential, just moody, bleak. I'm trying to, what the fuck is it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is moody. If you don't like libraries, dragons, and tea, you're not going to like this show. Like, it is that sort of flavor, right?
It's just, I remind me like those people in school, like they're just so angst ridden and they're just and you're like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. If you've looked at a picture of the Sandman from the comics, you're like, oh, that's a Cure song come to life. And that's exactly what this is. But that's the thing about it, is it's darkness with a little bit of, like, the Sandman character is the character who's like, love will save us all in the end. Like, he's that bullshit. And so that's there, but it is that dark Renaissance fair loving mythical world that you sort of have to get into. I don't see you liking this because it is whimsical, and not whimsical in the happy way, but whimsical as in the more fantastic,
the bleak way.
Yeah, okay. Like a fantastical sort of world. You know what I mean? Like, it's Game of Thrones, but everybody reads poetry. Like, that's what it
is. Jesus Christ.
That's pretty good.
So that's, but I love it. And so there's some of the things that we saw. Let's talk about one thing coming up. So let's go to these trailers. Ba-da-da-da.
Coming soon.
So this creepy and kooky, a little spooky trailer is the only trailer that we're going to be reviewing this week. And that is for a Netflix TV series created and produced by Tim Burton, starring Jenna Ortega as Wednesday Addams, Christina Ricci as an undisclosed character, Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia Addams, Luis Guzman as Gomez Addams, Jamie McShane, Emma Myers, Joy Sunday, Gwendolyn Christie as Larissa Weems, Ricky Lindholm, Percy Hypes White, Thora Birch, Hunter Doohan, Georgie Farmer, Oliver Watson, Jonna Diaz-Watson, Musa Mustafa, Tommy Earl Jenkins, and Naomi Ogawa, and that is Wednesday. So the show on Netflix follows Wednesday Addams' years as a student when she attempts to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart and solve the mystery that embroiled her parents. Chad, what did you think about the trailer for Wednesday?
To me, it looked fun. The beginning almost looked like a straight up horror.
Yeah.
With her putting the piranhas in there.
Good.
Yeah. And the blood in the water, that was kind of shocking to me, actually. But like in a good way. I'm a huge fan, I've said this before, of Jenna Ortega. I think she is a modern day scream queen with all of the stuff that she's in. Scream, Babysitter 2, this. She is in horror movie. She's an X. She's like horror movie royalty almost. And I don't know how old she is. So I'm a big fan of hers. And then now she's taking on this iconic character. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I know it's a show and I don't like, I got to add another show, but I'm actually looking forward to this one. I really am. I like Catherine Zeta-Jones as Morticia.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm feeling Luis Guzman as Gomez.
So excited. Oh,
I mean, we'll see. I'm reserving judgment on that, but I'm looking forward to this. I really am. Like, like, let's watch it. Let's go.
I know Chad is worried about other series because I texted him to watch The Bear. He texted me back, I can't take on another series. I just can't, Rob. And can't, Rob was in caps. He was really, I felt bad. I even asked him to watch another one. He was like overwhelmed. It was amazing.
Yeah, I can't do it.
I can't do it. No.
I mean, literally, Game of Thrones is about to start. And Lord of the Rings on top of that. I've got to watch those.
And She-Hulk. And Rob texted me the other day and he's like, hey, can you film an audition for me and my dad? And you need to watch an episode of Bear. And I'm like, you're asking too much already. Pick 2 of those.
watch The Bear. Fuck our auditions. That's it.
So Rob, what did you think about the trailer for Wednesday?
I thought it looked great. I thought it looked like a lot of, like you said, right off the top. I'm like, okay, what's the tone of this going to be? Is this going to be straight up horror? And I love the way it was shot. I love the colors. At Tim Burton. I mean, he creates a beautiful tapestry. And then it was just fun. I just thought it was a lot of fun. It was the fact that they killed people right off the bat. I just like, he needed to go. It looks good. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I like Louis Guzman. I think he's a great actor. I don't know if he's Gomez Adams. It's Gomez Adams has always been sort of again, obviously this is it's a nice 180 going other direction, but yeah, he wouldn't have been my first choice for Gomez Adams. That's interesting.
I'm excited to see what he does with it because I just think he's so fun to watch, and I don't think he's had the opportunity to play a character like this. So to see him try to be the bigger than life romantic, I'm so excited about it.
I mean, if you couldn't get a Javier Bardem, I guess okay, Louis Guzman.
The thing that gives me pause, and this looks phenomenal, but it's that she goes to this school that feels more Miss Peregrine's School for Gifted Children or whatever. And the thing that always worked about the Addams family is the contrast between them being so peculiar versus everyone else. Like that's the strong suit of these stories. So when you throw Wednesday into the X-Men mansion, what's going to happen? Like, does she lose? Because we don't have that contrast anymore. You know what I mean? And so I think that puts more impetus on the story to be really solid to get us through it. So I don't know. I'll see where it goes because I'm a sucker for this. I can't wait to watch this and the Monsters. We're really going to have a good double feature. Yeah. So thank God there are no other monster families they can bring back. Yeah, no, I'm here for it. Yeah, I can't wait. But before we close out the show, we do need to talk about a few passings, a little bit of a memoriam. We have 3 passings to discuss. First of all, Olivia Newton-John, legendary singer and performer. My dad always had the hots for her, so we had Olivia Newton-John CDs and records and posters everywhere around the house. So I always grew up with her being a constant presence. Secondly, Wolfgang Petersen passed away. One of a filmmaker that really impacted my life. Never Ending Story by itself. Oh my God, what a movie that formulated my thought process. And then thirdly, Anne Hesh. The circumstances surrounding her death are tragic. Everything about it is tragic. And it's sort of shocking that it unfurled that way. But she was a person that was very loved, had an amazing body of work. Regardless of the demons that she faced, she was a humanitarian, and we hate to see this happen to anyone. So our thoughts go out to those 3, and their families. So you guys got anything else you want to say?
I just remember I was living in LA. I was working, not the high point of my life. I was working at the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf in Malibu on a really crazy ass shift. I was probably 2 months away from moving back here, and the lines were long. And I was like, oh my God, I'm 30 years old or so, and I'm working at the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf in Malibu. And it was one of these days, it was just miserable, and I was waiting on these people, and some lady leaned over to pay me with a check, and she was very sweet. She was very quiet. And I looked down at the check, and it said Olivia Newton-John. And I looked up, and she looked at me, and it was Olivia Newton-John. She just smiled at me, and I went, wow, that was cool. And she was just her smile alone made my day. Wow. It was just one of those moments. Yeah, it was awesome. So it's my little Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf remembrance of the day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Olivia.
Barista Corner with Rob Pralgo.
That's right. We'll have a memory every week from now on. Sadly, I worked there so long, we could have one every week for quite a while.
Yeah, because you told me a few. I don't know if you want to tell them here for the whole world to hear. But.
I know, and he says it's like not the highlight of his life, but those are the best stories.
Those are, yeah. This whole show is ironic. Those were the highlight of my life. That's right. Anyway.
So yeah, that's all we got for this week. Chad, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter, Chad129X. Then find the podcast, NQC Podcast, on Twitter.
Awesome. And Rob, where can the people find you?
Twitter at Rob Pralgo, or on Facebook at Robert Pralgo, and places.
Yeah.
There. If you're in Marietta, come to the Artisan Resource Center. I'm in Suite A1. Hey, I don't care.
I mean, he's not there right now. Whoa. Wait till he's there.
Yeah. Wait outside.
Yeah.
And like the Thor tickets.
Yeah, exactly. And if you want to find me,
camp it out. If
you want to find me, you can look on Twitter under Robert Pralgo, or Facebook at Robert Pralgo. Next week or next time we'll be back with another episode of She-Hulk. I'll have seen Bullet Train and DC Super Pets, probably Lord of the Rings, House of Dragons, What the fuck else is going on? Hamster and Gretel, some Disney Plus show. There's a
When's
lot.
Andor dropping? I think that's some point soon.
Oh
So.
God!
But that's right at the end. It's still not soon because it's going
September,
to overlap a little bit over
okay.
She-Hulk.
Well,
It overlaps a little bit.
we probably need to like stop doing this podcast so that we can watch all this stuff.
Well,
Ridiculous.
I don't mean like stop at this moment, like never do the podcast again
ever.
because there's too much stuff to do.
I
to
agree
watch.
completely. Well,
I gotta
but-
say, I was a little disturbed a few moments ago when Keith said he can be found under Robert Crawley. That was a little disturbing.
And with that note, we'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.
Not Quite Cool is a podcast recorded in Atlanta, Georgia, in conjunction with Actors Teaching Actors and Bean Dip Productions. Thanks.